Good evening, folks. Hello, how are we? I hope you're all well. I can see there in chat. We've got Gary Dibley's in chat. Yeah, he'll be chatting to you throughout the show.
Yes.
we've got Kat and VB and Mike B and Andrew and Dave the Ray, Sav, Maxstrom, X19, Costello, me. That must be me. I'm not actually logged in, but it's me. Who else? We've got Miles. Hello, Miles. And Max. Hello, Max. Nice to meet you two at the NEES Meet. It was good. It's here. Yes. I hope we're coming through 5 by 5, as they say.
Yes.
There may be a very slight delay on the audio, possibly. We've tried to a little bit of a tweak, but that made it worse. So we've put it back to how it was. So hopefully we're not too out of sync, because myself and the Dibbers are in the house. Is there that one? This one? This one?
Oh
this
dear.
one.
Yes. Sorry, I'm still monitoring, and we're looking good. I don't know what the audio's like. I'm just going to check that now.
So yes, we've got about 2 minutes to live. I'm good, thank you, Sprott. Yes, good to meet you as well on Saturday, even though you were immensely tired.
I know the feeling tonight.
I'd been at it for like just forever. Done a night shift and then drove to the NEES Meet. Bad fool. And I drove down from Scotland. Yeah, it was all good. Right, let's put the bug on, and we will see you when it's time to start the show. Yeah, tatty bye. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Thursday. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Seeing Marco and Gary on Thursday. But it is. It's Thursday, the 13th of November, 2014. And of course, I swapped with Dave Dawn on Tuesday because Dave Dawn is at the e-cigs summit down in London. And there's been quite a lot of stuff coming through Twitter during the day for that. Haven't really had chance to sit and digest it all to get anything out to you tonight. So apologies for that. That will be coming in on later shows, I am sure, because Dave's down there, so I'm sure he's going to do something a bit more involved when he's got all the information there. Tonight we're going to be touching very loosely. Oh, see that what I did there? Very loosely on Loose Women from the 10th, and what they said about the infamous VIP advert. And it's quite interesting viewing, I have to say. And I've got some footage from the NEES Meet from Saturday. Yes, we've got the latest edition of MFT with Mr. D, who is there. Say hello, Mr. D.
Hello. How are you doing? Yes. When you said Mr. Dawn was doing things that, yeah, I just had visions of mods disappearing for a second there.
I know he's taken a collection of stuff down there to show
Yeah.
people. Nothing too kind of drastic, but some decent stuff to show people what it's all about, really, those who don't know. And of course, all the smokers out there know all about electronic cigarettes, don't they? Yeah. Anyway, more about that later. But first of all, let's have the titles. This is Vaper Scene on Vaper Trails TV.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Yes, indeed, it is Vaper Scene. It's Thursday, should be the haze hour, but as I just explained, Dave Dawn and myself and Gary have swapped for this week because Dave's down at the e-cigs summit. Do apologise if there is, or there are, any audio syncing issues on the voice anyway. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, it won't be. Because I'll fix it afterwards. But we can't really do anything about the stream at the moment, I'm afraid. Apologies. Don't forget, you can tweet the show using hashtag VaporScene, and I will pull up the tweets as we go through the show. And our very own VB has tweeted already. Welcome to the Kung Fu presenters. Yes, so hashtag VaporScene if you have any questions, comments, or observations throughout the show. Yeah. So it's been a bit of a busy week, really, for e-cigs. There's a summit going on today, and the infamous adverts have appeared for the first time in God knows how many years. You can see people vaping, not smoking, ladies, non-least women. It's not smoking, it's vaping. So I've pulled together a few little bits, and this is what the loose women had to say about the VIP advert. Yeah, have a little look.
Now, seeing people smoking in television ads was banned back in 1965, but tonight, for the very first time, TV viewers will see an e-cigarette advert which shows a woman clearly inhaling and exhaling vapour. Now, the ad can't be shown until after the 9 p.m. watershed, so obviously we can't show it to you now, but this is a still from the ad. So this is the woman, I have to say that's probably the tamest part of the ad. I mean, she's very provocative, very gorgeous looking woman. Have to say the ad, some of the language she uses,
words fail me on that.
Yeah, it's very provocative.
I just think when people see it, they'll be shocked by how dreadful it is. I think it's appalling. But anyway, that's the content of the ad. The actual thing of advertising e-cigarettes generally, I just don't get it. I don't get why, because this is a commercial enterprise. This isn't, you know, this is basically a commercial advert saying choose our brand of e-cigarettes instead of this brand. And for me, the message should be don't smoke at all.
But they are different. I mean, and
they're different
the
to
health
smoking.
problems have not yet been proved, have they?
No, they're different to smoking, but I don't think people, I think everybody who smokes knows that e-cigarettes exist, so they can either choose to have. This is about selling a brand, and I just think that anything related to smoking, and that's what it is. You look at it, you're still blowing out smoke, you're still doing this.
And especially that advert,
well, that
because
advert,
it's really sexualised.
It's really meant to look, I mean, it's semi-pornographic, to be absolutely honest, if you actually get the chance to watch it after the 9 o'clock watershed. And it's deeply desirable, and it makes her look very cool, very glamorous. And it's a horrible ad, actually. It's really revolting. Yeah. But I know a lot of people who have used e-cigarettes to come off smoking.
And very successfully,
So, so there is something to be said for them.
But this isn't selling the health benefits, is it? This is just selling it as a product.
Yeah.
They're saying you will look glamorous, with smoky eyeshadow and lip gloss and this, that and the other.
Well,
they're not selling it as a health benefit.
Yeah, the brand, it's VIP, and the co-founder, Dave Levin, said they know it's controversial, the way that the ad is made. He said it is aimed at adults, and as such, all adverts will appear in suitable programmes after the watershed. So I suppose you could say, if your kids do see this, that's your fault. Shouldn't be let them watch TV after 9.
But I've got adult children, and I would hate to watch that ad with them.
But he says it's perfectly legal. It's been upheld by the Advertising Standards Agency. So
I think when the general public get to see it, there will be a big backlash.
Yeah, I was quite shocked when I saw it. The content, the way it's kind of aimed, it's very sexualised. But also, we're so used now to not seeing people smoke.
I know.
We were saying this morning, it doesn't seem that long ago, but we could smoke in cinemas, in restaurants, on planes, on trains. And now, if you see somebody smoking in a public place, it's quite a shock. And that, and I know what they'll say, which is it isn't, this is to help people stop. So this is aimed allegedly at smokers. I still think it's glamorising the act of physically smoking, putting something up to your mouth.
And it's not as bad for you as smoking, but it's also not harmless either. It has nicotine in it, and surely the ideal should be just give up.
Well, it reminded me very much of those old cocktail cigarettes, which when we were all teenagers were all the rage. Sobrani cocktail cigarettes in bright colours, pink, black, which was very sophisticated and everything. And it was a purely marketing technique of women.
Yeah,
that's all.
But they are very glamorous. Anyway, let us know what you think about that. You'll see the ad. I said we can't show you the full thing, but you can probably see it online, and it will be shown after the 9 o'clock watershed.
Find out why 89% of our consumers said they prefer VIP over other brands. VIP e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Quality assured since 2009. VIP.
Vaping or e-cigarettes. Irene, I use an e-cigarette, but advertising on TV is a bad idea. Then again, kids see it all online anyway, so what's the difference? Sarah, in my opinion, e-cigs are just the same as normal cigs, so should come under the same rules. No advertising of them and no smoking them in public places. And Brian, allowing these adverts is madness, so nobody seems to be on board for that.
Well, and
that's before they've seen.
Wait till they say
Yes, we'll be very interested to know what you think when you've seen the ad, or maybe you think they should be advertised. Maybe you are a smoker and say that's the only way you've been able to stop, and other smokers should know about these things. Let us know what you think.
Yes, those are the loose women talking about that ad. Now, as Dave's already explained, the industry saw different ads, and it was probably deliberate by VIP. But anyway, the ad that was played out was not sexual. It wasn't filth at all. And I've had to scroll back up to chat because Dave de Rayon said, I've missed it now, it's gone past. I'm sure that they wouldn't object to the adverts for cola, where the women in the office ogle the scantily clad builder, etc. There's also adverts for toys these days, adult toys. Are they going to complain about that ad as well? Yes, let me just scroll down chat and see what else I've got. Gary, let me just go to you for a second. There we go. What do you think about that?
Great, yeah. It was, I think, one of the what do they use to describe it? Provocative and sexy. Well, themselves.
Provocative and sexualised, yeah.
Yes, they're in no danger of that, put it that way. I mean, I love Judy's comment there about, she's got, middle-aged, or was it middle-aged or teenaged? Yeah, I'm going with middle-aged.
Young,
she's got kids that she wouldn't want to sit and watch that with, and we were chatting about that. And it's sort of, I remember sitting and watching TV with my father, when I was younger, and he was an avid. He used to tune in to Top of the Pops, not to watch the videos or anything, but to watch Legs and Co and Pam's people. And as it was damn sight more provocative than that was, because as a kid that had me reaching for the pillow, and I'd have no qualms in sitting my teenage son down watching that ad, and I don't think he'd make a motion towards a pillow. That's how provocative it was, in my opinion.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree. I mean, there's the other things as well. All the alcohol companies sell their brands of alcohol, and they all want you to use those. You've got the Bacardi advert, you've got the vodka adverts, you've got the lager adverts. And back in the day, I remember when I was a teenager drinking or Tennant's lager, and it was in the old kind of flat top cans in those days, and every single can had a girl in a bikini. Yeah. I mean, times have changed, yes, we know that. But to call that advert almost semi-pornographic, I really don't know what Judy was on about. They obviously saw the other advert, and I think that was the whole point, to get as much coverage as possible, and to get as much kind of controversy as possible. And it's got people talking. Let's see what chat is saying. Oh, Max was talking about the moaning percent in the video. Yes, they only kind of aired 3 comments that I could see, and they were all negative. And I did tweet them, and I said, nice for you to only air 3 negative comments and no good comments. Yes. Anyway, it's out there now. That advert is out there. It's been shown on TV. It's been approved by the Advertising Standards Authority, as has the Kick one, which in my opinion is better. I quite like that Kick one. I don't like the way they're holding the e-cigs, but that was obviously to show you the name of it. You've got to get your product out there somewhere, somehow. But I thought that advert, the Kick advert, was much, much better. In fact, let's play it out. Here we go. Here's the Kick advert.
I used to smoke normal cigarettes, but after I quit, I tried these. I actually prefer them.
The first thing my husband said was that my clothes don't smell smoke anymore.
Easy to refill, easy to use.
Lots of different flavours to choose from. I'll never try them all.
The battery lasts a lot longer than my old e-cigarettes.
Juicy peach, that's my favourite.
This week.
20% off your first order online at kik.co.uk.
Now, that advert, I think, is rather nice, and it kind of shows certain traits that we as vapers have, like the bit about the Juicy Peach favourite today, because, 1 minute I like one juice, next minute I like another juice, and I'll swap during the day as well. But let's move on from the loose women and those adverts, because it was also discussed on Jeremy Vine, and Lorian was on opposite Deborah Arnott. And gave her a bit of a pasting, I think. Have a little listen.
Deborah Arnott joins us, Chief Executive of Action on Smoking and Health, or ASH, an organisation that campaigns against tobacco. Let's go to her first. What are your views?
Well, we're not against advertising, but it needs to be socially responsible in line with the Committee on Advertising Practice rules. And as you point out, the ad you've just played glamorises and sexualises e-cigarette use and doesn't make clear that these products are designed for use by smokers. How can that be defined as socially responsible?
Okay,
it's taking us back to the bad old days of tobacco advertising.
Let me bring in Laurie Yen Jolly, who's from the New Nicotine Alliance, which is basically trying to get everyone to start vaping, is it?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say try to get everybody to start vaping, no. What we would like to see is smokers routinely exposed to vaping as an alternative to smoking. Now, it was interesting there to hear Deborah say there are concerns that the advertising isn't clear enough. Now, the new guidelines actually prohibit any kind of claims being made that intimate cessation or they being safer than tobacco. So the companies themselves don't actually have that option, which I presumably Deborah would know, having submitted their own response to the ASA over this.
Well, Deborah, what's wrong with people being encouraged to smoke e-cigarettes when they do not contain tobacco?
Well, vaping's safer than smoking, but it's not harmless, and e-cigarettes should therefore only be promoted to smokers because this is an addictive substance, nicotine.
There's nothing wrong with being addicted, is there?
Well,
per se.
it costs you money. It's not particularly good for you. I mean, for
Holidays
people,
cost you money.
It's a lot better than smoking. But why should anyone get addicted, which could be a long-term addiction and cost you a lot of money over your lifetime, and not be particularly good for your health?
But we struggle every time with this discussion to work out exactly why it is that vaping is bad for you. Now, being addicted to something is not a bad thing if that something is neutral in health terms. How can you defend the statement that it's bad for you?
Well, I don't think, it's not going to kill you in the same way as smoking does, but that's not to say we don't know about the long-term impact, for example, of inhaling nicotine into your lungs. What we do know is that the harm caused by the tar is much worse, but we've still got a long way to go before we really know what the long-term impact of using these products is. Now, if you're smoking, it's definitely better, but if you're not smoking, it's not necessarily a good health choice.
Lori-Ann, isn't the danger here that people start vaping, forget smoking, they take up vaping, which, as Deborah says, can't make your life any healthier, can it?
These things remain to be seen. I think we're in trouble here of treating adults and people generally as children. We all partake in risky behaviours, and we all display traits that you could call addictive, if you like. Whether or not they are, whether they're to the detriment of our health, is another matter. Now, the kind of way people look down on nicotine, we don't see with people looking down on having a glass of wine when you finish work, or getting up in the morning and having to have your coffee in a takeaway cup to do the school run. These are all accepted social norms in terms of addictive or habit-like behaviours. Now, nicotine, outside of tobacco, we don't know if it even has those addictive properties.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound very convincing to say we don't know. It's not the way medicine works, is it? Or generally chemicals work, that we use them until we die of them.
But also, the point Lori-Ann was making is that these products should be promoted to smokers, which I don't have a problem with. But actually, these products are widely known by, well over 90% of smokers, and even of non-smokers, have heard of these products, are aware of them, know what they are. And over half of all smokers have tried them. They don't want these products to be glamorized to them. What they want is to know whether they're safe and effective and what their quality is. That's what smokers want to know about. Why do these products have to be glamorized?
Deborah, surely
in a way that could make them attractive to children?
Deborah, at the end of all of this process, you will have more people vaping and fewer people smoking tobacco, and as you as an anti-smoker will think that's great.
But the point I'm making is that what smokers want to know is about the products and how they work, not having them glamorized. And glamorizing and sexualizing their use in the way that tobacco advertising used to work was very effective at getting young people to take up the use of products. Now, we don't know whether it will lead to growing numbers of young people starting to use nicotine vaporizers or electronic cigarettes, but surely if there's a risk, why is it worth taking that risk when this sort of advertising isn't necessary?
Now, you've mentioned sexualising. Let's just hear this advert again. The new e-cigarette advert to be aired tonight. Have a listen.
You can touch it, hold it, even see it. Well, now you can taste it.
Now, Lori-Ann, that is a bit sexual, isn't it?
Well, certainly when you take it out of context like that and you can't see the imagery at the same time, it does sound very sexual. But
what is on the screen when she's saying all that, for goodness sake?
I'm not sure if you've seen it.
No, I haven't.
At the beginning part of the advert is her face and she's talking, and then later on in the advert you've got shots of the buttons on e-cigarettes and kind of shots of the e-cigarettes themselves, which is to touch it and taste it. She is fully clothed. Yes, it's not... If you see the actual advert itself, and I'm not defending it because I'm not industry, it certainly sounds worse if it was going to be a radio advert. Fortunately, it's not.
Okay, that might explain it. Thank you both very much indeed. Lori-Ann Jolly and also Deborah Arnott, basically for and against the whole advertising of e-cigarettes on TV.
Yes, that was Lori-Ann Jolly. What's so difficult about saying Lori-Ann? I don't know. It also sounds like the Beeb were a bit caught on the back foot as well and used the wrong information when they were putting that piece together. Not the advert that went out, but the one that was in the kind of shared Dropbox type thing that VIP left in there. So they fell into the trap, as did the other media streams. What can I say? Yes. Anyway. What does chat have to say? Well, I've got a tweet actually. Here we go. Let me go. There's a tweet here from VB. Loose-minded women unable to research beforehand to notice the companies aren't allowed to mention better health. Yes, not allowed to do that. And VB also tweets, and Arnott didn't know how to react when pressured by Vine. No. And also she didn't know how to react when she was pressured by Lorien. But at least Deborah Arnott could actually say Lorien, not Lorien. But there you go. Well, we're kind of just, we're extrapolating a little bit. What do you think of that, Gary?
I tell you what, there's two thoughts in that one. Firstly, Lorien deserves a blue medal. She absolutely trounced her, which was good, and it was quite nice to. It was almost won that one, wasn't it? Jeremy seems to have had from the last piece I heard from him. He's had a complete 360 now. It was good. It was good to hear Deborah getting a good kicking. The one thing I'm worried about, they were talking about glamorising and sexualising electronic cigarettes. So both me and you are just going to have to be a bit careful tonight, mate.
Yeah, because, I am just this hunk of a man, aren't I? With my e-cig, promoting it to children. Yes. what I will say, and this is how we all think, isn't it? The more people, the more smokers that see electronic cigarettes advertised are more likely to try them, and then are more likely to give up lit tobacco and use something that we all know is far, far safer. So all the naysayers and the doomsday prophesists complaining that it might be a tad sexualized, well, we don't think it was sexualized, and there are far more sexually type, explicitly type adverts out there for feminine items, adults' toys, even some shower adverts, someone was saying in chat there, are showing more than they're used to. And of course, you go to the continent and it's a free-for-all over there, all over the place. But anyway, let's go to the first set of ads. And when we come back, we'll have some more from chat, and we'll have some more from the NEES Meet. See you in 2.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vapor Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Healthy Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
And we are back in the room. Hello. Just watching chat through there. And there's another tweet come in. Here we go. Vaping Juggler, Cerulean C getting praise about the Radio 2 from the Vaper Scene chat room. You deserve it. NA Alliance, got any spare medals? Yes, indeed. Yeah, Lauren did a great job, as she does quite a lot these days on various news items that she gets on, which is all good. It's all good. And comment from chat. Paul Taylor, my God feels great in my hands. My mouth wants my God. I can taste it. I can feel it. I can put it in my mouth. Berg, no, got to take it out. Just can't get this God mod in my gob. Love it. I love it. Thank you for that, Paul. That was very good. I'm using the wrong mouse now. Oh dear. Yes. So there you go. That was. Let's wrap that a little bit up now and move on to NEES Meet that I went to on Saturday amongst lots of other people. There were loads of people there, and there was all that juice, loads and loads of it that was taken down there by Max Height. Thank you very much, Max. And we're going to see Max, yes, in the flesh, in moments, because when I was down there, I caught up with Max and her husband David, and they talked about their kind of vaping journey. Now, Max doesn't vape, she doesn't smoke, but David used to, and now he vapes, and he's been vaping for rather a long time. So, have a little look at what happened. So I'm up at the NEES Meet at the New Crown Inn, and I'm talking to David, and David's been vaping for about 8 years now, is that right?
Yes, I've been vaping 8 years now, started in the early days of cigar lights and never looked back. You know, absolute life changer.
So what was it that encouraged you to stop smoking and start vaping instead? What was the kind of catalyst?
The start to vaping is smoking was just killing me. I was going through too much. I went through 3 pouches of tobacco a week, asthma, feeling ill. So I had to change or do something. Patches didn't work. Tried this. Time ago, never looked back.
And how did you find the vaping experience 8 years ago? Because it was a lot different than it is today.
Oh, a lot different, really. I don't know how I got through it. I think I ate more than I've ate. You know, with tea bags and things that didn't work. So it's a total different thing now. They've got it so easy. We all have. It does what it's supposed to do now.
So what device was it that you actually started on?
Oh, the first device. All I can say was just some Cigalite unbranded that I got. It looked like a fag, and that were it. Really, it had a nondescript name from that's what it was, from China.
And how did you find the actual vaping experience on that?
Finding it then, it were all right. It was like more like a roll-up, I suppose, at that time. I enjoyed it more than smoking, so obviously I didn't smoke no more.
And then you moved on to what was next?
I just went along on I think, pillbox. I went to pillbox 38, bought a proper Cigalite, and from there on, just went along with the journey as it progressed.
And nowadays, I see you got a 134 there.
Oh, you got 134, yeah. Mechanical mod. Yeah, I mean, I've probably got a drawer full of them, really. E-cigs. I think I've had them all.
And what would be your favourite mod at the moment?
I think it's going to be this 134. It really is. It's sturdy, it does what I want it to do.
So would that be your everyday device?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Every day. I couldn't know where we're at it.
Do you chop and change during the day? Do you have different juices for different times of the day, or do you just stick on one juice generally?
I don't, not now. Now it's just apple pie and that's it, and nothing else. Just one e-liquid now.
Okay. So it's the same liquid, you just have it on different devices when the mood takes you that way?
Same e-liquid in all my devices. I mean, 12 months ago, I was changing a lot. But really, I'm lowering the nicotine down now, enjoying more of the flavour. So, to say really now, I'm on a low dose of nicotine, probably, wait, this is 11 milligrams, which is really low for me. And I've come from 45 milligrams.
Okay, so you've gone down quite a lot then from where you were.
In 6 months, yeah. Only because of the flavour. The less nicotine, the better the flavour. And really, I think I'm just vaping now through the habit of it and enjoyment of it. Nothing else. I think I could actually, if I wanted to give this up, I could now, but I don't want to.
And why don't you want to?
Because I like it. I love it. You know, I'm not harming myself now. I feel better. I don't wheeze, I don't cough. You know, 8 years, it hasn't done me no harm. In fact, I feel better and better and better. I'd class myself as a non-smoker. No two ways about it.
And what would you say to those people who would like to see people like us banned from vaping in places like this, like the New Crown, or vaping in public?
Well, I think if they ban it in places like pub and in public, it'll be a disjustice because all we'll do is turn back to cigarettes. There's no gain there. That's my opinion on that. Because part of why they want to vape, or probably would switch to this, is because they can do it indoors and not out in cold. That'd be a good start to me, rather than go out for a fag outside. It's like if they ban this through one way or another, even after 8 years, you'd go back to fags. I truly believe that, just through habit.
Could you see yourself going back to using lit
If they ban it, yeah.
So if they ban it, you would go back to smoking?
Well, I mean, you'd probably go a couple of weeks and then I think you'd go, oh, you know, you'd have to do something with your hands, or because you're used to vaping or smoking, that habit is still there. You've only switched, never really packed in. I reckon, like, once a smoke, as a smoker. It's just one of them things. And if the government are going to do that, it's a silly thing when it's proven that it's no more harmful than a cup of coffee.
I'm talking to Max now, who's married to David, and they've been together for a number of years. I won't tell you how many, but Max might. Max, about your journey with David and the fact that, you know, he's gone from smoking to vaping, and how your life has improved as well.
Well, it's improved for the better for both of us, I think, realistically, health-wise, home-wise, lifestyle-wise. Both got more energy. This thing that second-hand smoke does harm you, I believe it does. When he was a smoker, I don't think I was as active as I am now. And since he started vaping, it's got a lot better.
And you've never smoked?
Never.
And you've never vaped?
Never.
But you're 100% behind David, and I've just heard you earlier on talking about a new mod.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is all good. And you bought a load of juice today from Liberty Flights for people to try, the new Temperance range, which I've got some in my bag. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But you're involved quite heavily in the community. So tell us a bit more about that and why you feel that even as a non-vaper that you need to be so involved.
As a non-vaper, I think it's important to be involved. I've witnessed two sides to life, living a life with a smoker and living a life with a vaper. And all I can say is, from my point of view now, it's healthier, it's better, it's cleaner, your clothes don't smell. And we always do things together anyway, we always have. And I just embrace the fact that he's changed from one habit to another. And I love the fact that he vapes, it's cleaner, it's healthier, and I just love the smell of apple pie.
Do you make apple pie? Because I know you bake, don't you?
I do, I bake apple pies, bread, chocolate cakes, all that type of stuff.
So hence David's affliction with the apple pie vape?
Probably.
So where do you see things going? Would you be prepared for David to go back to smoking if everything was banned?
No, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd like that. I'd rather want him to stop than go back to that, because it's horrible, it's disgusting, it smells. You know, it ruins people's lives, it damages your health. No, I wouldn't want him to go back to smoking at all.
It is, it's about 6:10 now, and I'm going to head off because I've been going since this morning. So I'm heading off home. It's been a rather enjoyable few hours at the New Crown Inn. Met some nice people, as I normally do, and met some good old friends who I've known for quite some time now, which is always good. It's always good to meet people, new people and old people, which is what these meets are all about. So if you haven't had a meet in your area, sort one out. Let us know on Vaper Trails, and we will publicise it for you. Anyway, back to the studio. And we're back to the studio. Hello. Yes, thank you to David and Max for talking to me on Saturday, and thanks to Chris Dyson as well, who gave me some extra footage. He was doing some filming for his documentary, and he did some filming for Dave Dawn, and kindly offered to do some for me too. So the kind of extra shots were from Chris. So thank you very much for that. Edited, of course, by my good self. Yes, it was a good do. I was only there for 3 and a bit hours. I'd driven down from Scotland, and it was kind of a pit stop on the way home. And I'd been up in Scotland since the Wednesday, and I've been away from home most of the week. So yes, I was on my merry way home, and it was very good. Met some now for a number of years. Cliffy and Miles Dolphin was there, and there was Ray and Sav, of course, and Daz and Dave Dawn. I missed Keith. Still haven't met Keith, but there you go. So yes, if you haven't arranged a meeting in your local area, arrange one. Get it on the forums. Send an email to us at Vaper Trolls TV. You can send it to Vaper Scene at Vaper Trolls TV, or any of the other streams, Twitter and Facebook and the like, and we'll put a shout out for you. Yeah. Let's go to the second set of ads now, when I find them. There they are. And when we come back, we've got the latest MFT with our very own Mr. Gary Dibley. See you in 2 minutes.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like, and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
RY4 Radio.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vaper Trolls TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Welcome back to part 3 of this week's edition of Vaper Scene. And very quickly, Gary Dibley has a question for Max and David. Mr. Dibley,
Yes.
over to you.
I do. It's a very serious question and a technical one as well. I believe Dave is an avid fisherman, and I'd just like to know how vaping has affected his catch rate when he's fishing, because I used to fish a lot myself, and I used to wear a glove when I was, like a rubber glove when I was smoking, because apparently the fish used to pick up on the smoke and the nicotine and all that on your bait when you hooked it up if you've been smoking. So I'd just like to know from Dave if it is if he's now catching big jobs. And Max, I love your support for your husband. Superb. Well done. Shall I do the announcement while I'm here?
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Yes. Well, I'll do the announcement at the end. But in fact, we're going to shave somebody. We're going to shave a team member. Matt Gerish has sort of put himself forward and said, "You may shave me bald of my facial hair. Obviously, once the Movember thing's over. If Children in Need hits a certain target, we're going to be putting that up soon. So we may get to shave Matt, and I'm going to send my wife to do that if that is the case." Coming up, we have right now the next episode of MFT with me. Back in the room for another week, and this week I'm taking up a comment from chat that was there for 2 weeks. I didn't ignore you, I just didn't feel the need to add some heat shrink to our mod that we finished last week. Now this will be heading up for auction very soon for the Children in Need charity, which I probably mentioned more times than enough. But before I do that, I need to test it. I need to test it thoroughly. I need to test that it's working properly, and I want to ensure that when that goes out to somebody, it is a fully functioning, safe mod. That almost brings me on to a little rant, which I've been trying to suppress in a way. I've been trying to not rant today, but some of the comments I've seen on some of the forums have led me to an almost rant state. Now, think about it logically. We did the thing a couple of weeks ago on the Haze Hour where we looked at the batteries, and batteries seem to fail in certain circumstances. I don't want that to happen with this, because I want to make sure that is 100% before I post it or send it or give it to anybody to use. The fact that a reputable supplier this week has announced a recall on a product that they deem to be not adequate and then get dissed for it has totally pissed me off. I'm not knocking any of the guys that watch your show, but if you were negative in any of the comments on Facebook forums, this, that and the other, about a certain, we think that product is failing, therefore we're going to take it back and give you a refund and give you something on top of that, and you thought that was a scam, you, sir, are a complete and utter twat. I don't get it. They've done the right thing as far as I'm concerned. If there is any concern about a mod and it's been recalled, why try and say a company's trying to scam you? Nearly said it. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll probably think I'm a complete and utter loony. But there we go. It just really wound me up, that one. That one wound me up more than most things this week, and I've had a shitty week, I can tell you. Going back to the mod. Back into happy mode. But if you're the sort of person who's typing out on the stuff about somebody who's worried about the safety of something and they're recalling it, oh, you're a gimp. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to be good now. So we would ask about heat shrink after all that, and when you would use it. So I'm going to show you. I have here a broken, well and truly broken Vamo board. Screen is mashed to buggery. And someone said, how would you use heat shrink? Not how is the best way to do it, how would you shrink it? Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to take a noggin off a corner up here. I'm going to take a noggin down here, and I've got a lump of heat shrink. What I'm going to do is just get my soldering iron and tin this piece on the top there. Now realistically you would use heat shrink in a position that you thought there potentially could be shorts occurring. So what you're doing is effectively insulating the wire away from anything that can. And as you can see, by putting that there, I haven't covered the back end of it. And this is where you need to bring your stuff down and just take a view with what you want to cover. But I'm just at this moment in time trying to cover that pin there. I'm not going to cover it at the back, because let's assume that something could short out on that board there. Now I've got two ways of doing this. The first way that I would shrink the heat shrink would be to turn my iron to the maximum, which is around about 450 degrees C, and I would just offer that under it and let it shrink. Now if I hold that up there, I'm not touching it, it will gradually shrink in place. The other way of doing it, which I'm sure so many people will probably have an opinion on this and scream at me, is to use a naked flame. Now I find a butane lighter at a certain height above that, and bear with me one sec, I may scream in a minute when I burn myself, but just to hold that lighter and just flash it around the heat shrink, and you can see what I'm doing now, I'm literally just flashing it around the heat shrink, doing nothing but moving it backwards and forwards quickly. And if you're worried about component damage, there we go. And I'll show you quickly down on the bench. Focus. Yep. That has literally gone tight as buggery. And if I wanted to, give it another flash. But that is literally just hardly any heat on there at all. Now I know it looks like there's flame and stuff, but if the board was going to be damaged, there would be scorch marks on there. Let me go down as far as I can. Probably about there. There's no damage on that board at all, and that heat shrink is 100% in place. So it was literally a case of flame, flashy flame, and literally the gentle heat from that is going to bond it far quicker than a soldering iron. Cracked screen, bad board, but that is tight. It's not fully tight yet actually. I may well burn it. I can sense people typing now, you should not be doing that, Dibley. But it's there, it's good, it works. That's the way that I would do it. Over, if you've got a soldering iron that gets hot enough and you've got the time, happy days. For a quick flash fix, just a butane lighter and flash it under it. If you start seeing scorching on the board, it's burning something. There's no burning on there whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, that would be job done. We're going to come back to and we'll talk about what we're going to be doing in the coming weeks. And we are back in the room. Now, I've just thought of the perfect example where you would use a little bit of heat shrink and how to fix it. I've got here the springy Vamo head that I was sent, and I'm just going to tin my tip, put a dab on there, put it down on the centre pin and dab that home. Now, if you were to look at that side on, now I don't know how close I can get, probably about there. You could see there is a possibility of that shorting out on the outer rim. Now this is where you would apply a little bit of heat shrink. So I'm just going to slide some over my wire here, probably not that much, wouldn't use that much, and that will nestle down right down over that, so there's no chance of that wire actually shorting against the, you know, the body as it would be. Now I'm going to use the method I showed you earlier, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of flame heat, and if you watch this bit you should see that, and all I'm doing is waving it around. See that start shrinking in. Now the reason I'm waving it is to dissipate the heat. You would know that burnt because this red wire would be black, and it's not. Now it's not sealed around the top part yet, so all I'm going to do is just quickly chuck some in there, and you can see it mould as you go, so it's not that difficult to see it mould. If you hold this on there forever, it would like melt and all that sort of stuff. But literally, I'm holding this in my hand. If it was going to cause damage to a component, I'd feel the bloody thing, basically. So that was a very quick flame trick, and that centre pin now is totally insulated. That's the sort of thing we're talking about. So, where do we go from here? I've done heat shrink. I hope you appreciate that. Last week, obviously, we finished things off. This week, we are going on to something new. Now, you can hear clattering in the background. I've got new drill bits. Now, these are big bugger drill bits. Ignore that one for the minute. I've got two sizes. I have an 18mm drill bit here, which is exactly the same diameter as a battery, and a 22mm here, which is exactly the same diameter as a 22mm casing for a mod 22mm ATI top type thing. The reason I bought this, we're going back to the lathe, and we are going to try to make something like this. If you can see, the 22mm will slot in there very nicely, which is where the 22mm casing would go. I've got two choices of material, and I'm going to leave this entirely up to you guys. I have some block oak that I can make something from, or I have block acrylic. Now both of these will take a 22mm Absol battery insert. Now I'm not sure, and I haven't even thought it out what I'm going to do, but next week we'll be starting work on one of these two pieces of material. The ultimate aim is to have an 18350 mod with a screw cap bottom, a button and a fat daddy top, we hope. So entirely up to you. It's either or acrylic, don't mind, either or, same thing. So just let me know. If you let me know, if not, I'm going to pick the wood, and if no one says anything else, I'm going with the wood, because I haven't done wood for a long time and I like to play with my wood. A apparently. So yes, there we go. That is what we are going to do next week. We're going to start that journey. I need to get some bigger jaws in a lathe. I need to get the sharper bit on the tooling. Set it all up, lighting over the lathe, and we'll be flying. So just let me know. Wood, acrylic, what do you want to see? I will make it. As you can see, flaming things. Doesn't burn them if you fan the heat. That's the way that I like to do it. It may be wrong, may not be the right way, but that's the way I do it. I'm going to hand you back to Marco in the studio. And next week we'll crack on with something new. It's down to you guys. Catch you next week. Cheers now. Bye. There we go. So I think the chat have decided they'd like to see the acrylic, but personally, I would like to play with my wood a lot more. Now, it's entirely up to you. If you email, and Marco will tell you in 2 seconds, you can email the Vaper Scene email address. Currently, acrylic is winning. Now, I need to know quite quickly within the next day or so, because I'm going to have this on the lathe on Sunday. And Des is on next. Back to you, Marco.
Yeah, email us at vaperscene@vaportrails.tv and with your choice, acrylic or wood. And you've got till 5 p.m. tomorrow. Yes, because Gary needs to do the VT for me at the weekend. Yes, so let's get that shot. There we go. We're very slightly over, so let's wrap this show up. Now, being Thursday, tomorrow's not Matt, so the next show is going to be Sunday with Dave Kitson with Dave's Tackle Box. Monday night at 9 o'clock, you've got Drips and Tips with Andy and Davey. Tuesday, it's me and him again. Yeah, me and him with Vaper Scene. And then, of course, Wednesday, it's The Cave with Matt Garish. And on Thursday, it's the Haze Hour with Dave and Keith. And who else? I don't know. We'll have to just tune in and find out, won't you? So it's good night for me, and it's good night from him.
Good night.
We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. Tatty bye.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquid.